Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you all here. Welcome to this exclusive webinar that we have prepared jointly with Teradici, company to which we have been allied for several years and is one of our technology alliance. So both companies, VirtualCable and Teradici, were working together to provide our customers with access to graphics-intensive virtual desktops and applications. Teradici Cloud Access Software and VirtualCable UDS Enterprise offer a simple, secure VDI and vApp solution with the highest image and audio quality. This combined solution is valuable to users working in photography, post-production, reproducing and editing high-definition video, working with any 3D application, creating visual effects, and using their virtual desktops and applications. And to help this kind of specific jobs, we have designed a special promo that I will be providing more information at the end. So we will cover different points of the two solutions in a separated way, and then we will show you in a demo how both solutions work together. First thing, I'm going to introduce the team that is making this webinar possible. The person who has been and still is coordinating all this work is Beatriz Lafuente, responsible for the marketing department of VirtualCable. With us is also Andrew Wade Brown from Teradici. He is the regional director, Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Victor Alonso, one of our specialized technicians in virtualization and UDS Enterprise. And myself, Yolanda Gonzalez, head of the VirtualCable Commercial Department. So let's get started. See, remote work is something that was gradually installing itself in our lives. Some companies have been implementing it progressively, but unfortunately, it has been a forceful and bitter fact, the current health crisis that we are undergoing, which is accelerating this process and leading companies to find a solution that allows their employees to continue working from home as fast as possible and thus maintain the demands of society, clients, and therefore keep the production cycle alive at the lowest cost that this situation will allow us. And given the speed, the urgency, the question is unavoidable. Are we sacrificing security for the speed of implementation? That's a critical question and needs reflection. As you all know, there are several solutions on the market to be able to work remotely. The important thing in this case is to be technologically well informed. It is vital to make the right decisions in each scenario, to use, let's say, the resources, time and money in the best way. Many companies are announcing teleworking methods that are going to make it easier for us to continue with our work from home or any other place, I would say now, from home. And still not all offer the necessary security, and we must continue to be very careful with this matter, since anyone could access our company data if they require precautionary measures are not taken to allow remote work. Desktop and applications virtualization is a crucial technology to provide efficient and secure solution. VirtualCable and Teradici have teamed up to deliver the best solution, providing customers with cost-effective graphics-intensive virtual desktops and applications. The Cloud Access Software plus UDS Enterprise joint solution delivers broad flexibility since it supports Windows and Linux environments and also can be deployed on premises or on public, private, and hybrid clouds. And it supports also any endpoint, including zero clients and thin clients. So now I will introduce as briefest as I can our company and broker. So let me share the screen. You can see it. Okay. So VirtualCable is a Spanish company. We are specialized in virtualization. We created, develop, and support UDS Enterprise, a VDI broker. Our team has over 30 years of experience in software development, but since the last 15 years, we have worked intensively on virtualization technologies, as we believe that this is inherent to the success of any company. We decided at the beginning on an open source software because it contains features that match our mental frame of sharing, compatibility, and freedom to choose how to work. See, we are facing a complex environment. We should think about virtualization. Why? Because allows multiple users to share the same physical resources or use a set of them as if they were one. In other words, through this system, the software is separated from the physical environment in which it is located. So the clients are isolated from traditional resources. For example, the same machine is capable of supporting dozens of operating systems, and a company with a handful of servers can run hundreds or thousands of platforms. See, now I will show you which are the most important reasons to use this VDI environment. And you can see in the first place, centralized management, support flex working, provide desktop as a service, cost reduction, and so on. Let's start with what is UDS Enterprise. Firstly, to let you know that we delivered three virtual appliances. As you can see, the server, the tunneler, and the database. Then we have the actor and the plugin. It is an intelligent and easy to use connection broker to manage and deploy, as I said before, Windows and Linux virtual desktops and applications. And it can be implemented on-premise or a public, private, hybrid cloud. As a teleworking solution, it is truly efficient and safe, as it allows the IT department to have complete control of the environment at all times. Companies can choose whether to allow their employees to join the buyout trend or provide them with a corporate device. So the workers can access their virtual desktops from any device with a web browser and access the computer also located in their office without assuming any risk, in contrast to VPN plus buyout. UDS Enterprise manages and deploys from start to finish and automatically the life cycle of those virtual desktops and apps. Besides, it controls the access of remote and local users to virtualization platform and IT resources in data center or cloud. And also at the same time, it consolidates desktop services, which means that in a centralized way, the user can access all the services available to him or her. What is happening is the platform administrator sets the configuration parameters that best suit each user group, and consequently, the desktops and apps are deployed based on those parameters. We can say that UDS acts as a traffic warden, receiving the user connection requests and directing each of them to the authenticator system, virtualization platform, services providers that the administrator has previously set up. Even more than that, it's not only compatible with all of them, but also allows them to be activated simultaneously according to requirements. This feature makes unique and offers many alternatives and a range wide of possibilities and services. For example, as an administrator, you can have as many different platforms as you need. For instance, one of them can be configured for a more straightforward user using Excel, Word. Another can be for only, let's say, administrative employees, and one more for designers, architects who need graphic intensive applications, and so on. So, as you very well know, some companies impose their clients to work with a specific transport or platform, whatever. UDS Enterprise endorses the freedom to choose which hypervisor, which authenticator, and protocol to use according to circumstances. That means that fits inside out in virtually any previous infrastructure. Let's see now a little bit of the main features. It is straightforward to connect with as the user can access from any web browser or operating system. As I already said, Windows and Linux. It has two advanced level cache systems. There is, to explain this a little bit, is like there is always a second line of virtual desktops prepared, like dormant, that the system launches only at the moment of the request, which saves time and resources, as the machines do not have to be created in that moment. They are suspended and ready to use when the user make the request. It can work with different storage systems, unlimited IP services management. It has the capacity of managing infinite IP, and of course, besides, supports BIOD. Let's see benefits. See, the comment more frequent that we receive from our clients is that there is effortless installation, administration, and usability. In just a single click, you are connected to the service. Since it is open source, as an administrator, you can customize it as per the requirements of each single organization. It has unlimited flexibility and scalability. As it's open source, it can be migrated, and also it is prepared to interact with any software. And also we have a product map based on clients and community requests. See, we are very, very concerned about satisfying the needs of our customers, interested in a collaborative partnership with them. Why? To grow and evolve together to see what are their needs. That is why we listen suggestions from them and try to implement it as soon as possible. Then about this, I will talk later about the licensing and inverse cost, etc. You can see now the different compatibilities, talking about the hypervisors. I am not going to name all of them, but you can see just different transports, multiple authentication, etc. And also, I will show you a little bit advanced features like the API REST can be integrated with third parties, etc. I would like to highlight in this slide about the calendar system with the time control. See, with this calendar, you can schedule the power up of virtual machines for them to be ready whenever the user would need it. So administrators can create a calendar to enable or restrict also access by dates and time slots. And you can schedule also and automate tasks like based on the timelines. For example, the deployment and removal of virtual desktops, or if you want to adjust the size of the cache, and so on. This is a comparison between UDS Enterprise and, in this case, two products on the market. In this case, Harrison and Citrix, and see, multi-hypervisor, authenticator. We have the cache I named before, unlimited users. I will talk about that later. Let's see a little bit about architecture. See, what you see now, it is this architecture can be used to deploy an efficient and secure teleworking system with UDS Enterprise. So you can see that the administrator can configure access through the internet or a local network of VPN. And with UDS Enterprise, you can provide access to virtual desktops. The user is going to connect through any kind of device, and UDS is managing all the requests. It's asking for the authenticator, and once the user is authenticated, then we'll provide the service. And this is also one architecture with, in this particular case, is the with Nutanix, but can be with any other, as you have seen right now, the compatibility with all of them. So the seamless integration of UDS Enterprise and Nutanix Acropolis enables the deployment of virtual desktops in a fully operational way in record time. And then I will show you also the high availability. See, the user, the load balancer is balancing the load, and you can replicate the server as many times as you need, and the tunnel also. That's in this way you get the high availability. And I will show you a little bit of the resources. You can see that, for example, talking about the database, in the disk is 8 GB, the server is 5 GB, the tunnel is 10 GB. And RAM, CPU. Of course, you can do the same thing with UDS Enterprise as on-premise, with the peculiarity that you pay only for what you see. So in the moment, for example, an organization have a different situation, whether they have to increase or decrease, it can be done effortlessly. You can access, of course, the data anytime, and allows also to be connected as you need. Compatibility with Microsoft Azure. There's a little bit of our presence, and we have in the education, management of access to internal departments and learning resources. In insurance, we have different call centers and also unified access to workplace regardless of operator. Government, we have also lots of clients, entity, federation, and banking. These are our technological alliance. And see, Open Nebula, Red Hat, of course, Teradici, Ovirt, different ones. And we have to pass some regular tests. Normally, it's every time we release a new version of UDS Enterprise, and to confirm that we are compatible still with them. And then I will talk a little bit about how is the subscription model. It's not UDS Enterprise is not acquired by purchasing a license. It is offered as a subscription system with different sections, tracks, depending on the number of users. That means that the more people use it, the more advantages it is. As from 351 to unlimited users, the cost remains fixed. UDS is optimized for environments with a large number of users. That is why we designed also, according to this, an unlimited subscription with a fixed cost. 60,000 or even 200,000 users can be connected. Actually, as I said before, as many as each organization needs, since the broker and tunneler can be replicated as many times as necessary without implying an extra cost. Each subscription includes specialized support. We are very concerned about that. We like to give to the final client a very personalized support in which there is not a machine who is replying, it's always a technician behind replying to a specific client. This is also one comment that we receive very, very frequently. So the support is in a 8x2 model. And of course, we also provide the security patches and product updates. And as I said before, it's like we release a new version every year, more or less. We are about to do it very, very soon. Every year, and normally this new release includes the suggestion that the clients has done before. And we do not sell directly to the client. We do it through our channel partner, both national and international. And a little bit about our case studies. As I said before, different universities, government, etc. And just a summary like automatic management of Windows and Linux allows to work simultaneously. It is open source, which gives us flexibility, customization, two-level cache, splitted authentication, very easy installation, next business day personal support, and inverse cost scaling. So now I will stop to share my screen, if I can. Just a moment. And Andrew, whenever you are ready.
Yes, thank you. Just getting myself off mute there. So I hope everybody can see my screen. I'll accept the first answer as yes on the chat to confirm that. Somebody's typing. Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh no, not many yeses. Thank you very much. So thank you very much for that. Great introduction. I'm also, as we're all locked in our houses around the globe, I'm going to share out my webcam as well. So good afternoon, everybody. And thank you for joining this webinar. So I'm, for the next 10 to 15 minutes, just going to talk about Teradici and our PC over IP protocol. And I'd just like to thank all of those who are allowing me to speak in my language. I know for some of you, for most of you, this is your second language, so I really appreciate that. So some of you may have heard of Teradici already, some of you may not have. So this will be a very high-level view from an overview of the technology itself and the protocol. So who is Teradici and what do we do? Okay, so I think it's fair to say that our mantra, our guiding statement for the business is that what we want to do is we want to deliver what we refer to as the under-the-desk experience to users from either from private or public cloud workstations. And indeed, and when we talk about private data centers, we're talking about on-premise there. So on-premise or public cloud, we visualize the content that those workstations are creating, and we deliver those to the user as we said, an under-the-desk experience. And that's just not visual content being delivered one way as well. It's about the interactivity that the user has with that workstation. So they should really feel that the workstation is sitting under their desk and it's not potentially 10,000 miles away, 1,000 miles away, whatever that might be. So what do we develop? As Teradici, we developed a protocol called PC over IP. So PC over IP in simple terms is a display protocol. As mentioned, it allows you to move pixels that are being generated in a workstation remotely to a user's remote location. And we do that, we use our own embedded encoders. So we don't use the standard encoder. Most protocols that you will see on the market today will use H.264 or a subset of H.264. We have our own embedded codexes. So what we do is we encode the pixels being produced by the workstation. We compress them, we encrypt them to AES 256, and then we transport them across to an end device, and we either use that across the local area network, the wide area network, or indeed the public internet. And once it arrives at that end point, then it gets decrypted, decompressed, and then displayed on the local monitor. So what makes PC over IP different from all the other protocols out there and chosen by most of the high graphic intent application workloads in the field today? So one is we do host rendering, and by that what I mean is we're doing pixel level processing. So we support any operating systems already been mentioned. So it doesn't matter whether you're talking about Linux or Windows. We also support any application, because ultimately we're not application dependent. We are only taking the pixels that are being produced by the application through the GPU. We are then effectively scraping the pixels out of the GPU and then encoding and sending them across. And we do that by, as I mentioned, multi-codexes. So we don't just see the image in front of you as one. So the image you're seeing now, we don't see that as one image. We look at that and we say, okay, what is text, what is graphics, and what is video? And we use the corresponding codexes to ensure that we deliver the best quality. We also build to lossless. So by that, what I mean is, we will deliver initially the best quality image we can. But if we see improvements in the bandwidth, if we see improvements in the delivery mechanism of that image, we will then backfill the detail into that image as well. So we can get to the point where we can actually deliver true fidelity on color. So we support. So if you compare us to H.264, and I've got a slide that shows this in a minute actually. We have dynamic network adaptation. So there's two things ultimately that we rely on heavily that we actually cannot adapt, which is ultimately the network itself, the physical bandwidth, and latency. And they do have a big impact on the user experience. So where we can, we try and adapt what we're delivering. So it's a balancing act between potentially performance and quality and bandwidth. So you can deliver, extremely good quality, but it does take more bandwidth. If the user doesn't have that bandwidth because they may be working from home, and to be fair, probably the reason we're all sitting here listening to this today is because we're all working from home. Is that if somebody's got a poor, or high latency internet connection, we can only deliver to the best that connection can allow us. But we will, and we do a lot of stuff around in the background to try and compensate for that, but there's only a certain amount we can do. Every single pixel that we send from end to end is encrypted, so full security. So leaving your data center, leaving your workstation, the only thing leaving the security of that environment is the pixel that is being produced on the screen. And we take it one step further as well, is we only transport the pixels that are changing. So right now, if you're looking at the screen and you're seeing the slide deck, then ultimately we're not transporting any more of those pixels. However, the pixels we are transferring is my lovely face that you can see. But if I was to now move my mouse or start moving again, we would then refresh with the pixel change. So what that means is not only are we encrypting, but even if that encryption was intercepted and decrypted, all that would be inside that packet would just be the pixels that have changed. So it would mean nothing to anybody. And as also mentioned, we support both on-premise workstations, and we support cloud workstations as well. We support all the big cloud providers, so all the three main ones, so AWS, Google, and Azure. We also now support, I guess, what we call consumer workstations. So where people, and this has been driven by the current pandemic, is where workstations haven't been moved into the data center. you can now actually deploy Teradici onto those physical workstations under the desk. And also, and this is probably news for the guys that for virtual cables as well, as we've just announced support for consumer grade GPUs. That announcement has come out literally overnight. So traditionally we have supported professional GPUs. From today, we now also support GeForce GTX GPUs and also, for example, RTX 2000 and above. So a broad spectrum there of support to allow you guys to get your people working from home. So what does it actually mean? So in simple terms, our protocol, and this is difficult to show on this screen, is that H.264, using H.264, the way that H.264 uses and the way it compresses, it basically, you lose 12 million colors straight away. With PC over IP, you don't. We will deliver, if the requirement is there and the bandwidth is there, we will deliver the true quality. We will deliver all the colors. And this is great for high graphic applications. So whether you're talking media and entertainment, whether you're talking oil and gas, whether you're talking, for example, geophys, healthcare, certainly a lot of the STEM cell subjects in education require high quality graphics, not a problem at all. The other thing where it's important for everyday users, and that really hasn't come out on that screen, is when it comes to text. There's actually there's a deck on our website you can see. Is with text, actually we deliver clear type, Microsoft clear type ability, which can reduce people's fatigue when they're sitting in front of their screen for a very long period of time. And we're seeing that more actually very quickly now, is when people are working from home. Normally they've had a bit of interaction around the office. They're not just sitting in front of their desks, but actually when they're working from home, it's sometimes very hard to pull yourself away from the desk. Even if the sun is shining outside and the garden looks lovely. So this here is a quick overview of Teradici and our history. So we developed the protocol in 2004. We started working with HP, Dell, and IBM in 2007, and they built it into their zero client technology and their workstation cards. We were then baked into VMware Horizon in 2009. 2007, we were then used by AWS for delivering Amazon Workspaces, and our protocol is still delivered today, still used for Amazon Workspaces. In 2016, that's, and I'll be open with this, that's where VMware Horizon basically froze the version that they were using within VMware Horizon. So if you're using PC over IP in VMware Horizon today, it actually is about 5 years old. But the technology itself, from our point of view, has still grown. In 2017, we saw a movement in the market where people were going much more virtualized. So we introduced our cloud access software. 2018, again, a big working relationship with AWS, Google, and Azure. We also launched our own broker, but that's a very low-end broker. And then also 2019, we announced PC over IP Ultra, which is enhancements to the protocol. We also have done a lot of work with Nutanix, and also we are now, if you're looking at Avid, Avid will recommend using PC over IP to deliver their media composer and other such solutions, either from the cloud or from a workstation. Some big numbers, corporate presentation. So in real terms, 13 million users globally, 3 million zero clients, and we supply companies from the Fortune 500 down to a 5-seat deal. Again, what we see from a market point of view, and this is where we see people, the traditional route that people have taken. So if we look at the top there, traditional workstations sitting under the desk, we've then seen over the years those workstations move from under the desk to centralized data centers, literally by physically moving the workstations, racking and stacking the workstations, and then using our PC over IP host card to then deliver the displays out to endpoints on the user's desks. A lot of people did that for security, for reduction in heat, reduction in noise, etc., etc. Then we've seen the natural progression that from the physical private data centers, the data centers started to become virtualized. So again, whether you're, and I know one of the questions in the chat was, so we support VMware, we support Nutanix from a hypervisor point of view, we support KVM, we support HP Simplicity, we support the free cloud providers as well. So we support a broad spectrum of hypervisors from a virtualization sector. And we also now support the public cloud. So we see people somewhere in this journey, there is always going to be somebody and a hybrid of that journey as well. and we support all that environment. So whichever part of that journey you're in, you can be reassured that using us with UDS, you're already going to be, you're safely going to be there for the future. So in real terms, and I'm just going to touch this slide. Effectively, you connect your tablet, your laptops, your PCs, your Zero clients through the UDS broker. You can then broker out your workstations. Doesn't really matter where they reside. You can then broker them out to your users. We touched on PC over IP Ultra. So last year we made some significant enhancements to the technology itself. So this is when you're talking about our software-based program. So what we can do now is we can support 4K ultra high definition up to 60 frames a second. Again, depending on the number of monitors you've got and how much content is moving at any one time. We can now scale across multiple CPUs. We've also announced the support for NVIDIA's HT64 NVENC encoding. So in certain applications, we can offload the encoding from the CPU down to the GPU, very useful in rendering, et cetera, et cetera. And it's available across to all our cloud access software customers. It's already in the technology, it's just enhancements that you engage with. So this gives you a quick view of the way the technology's gone, because certain people are out in the market saying that the technology is legacy. It certainly isn't. The original PC over IP, bottom left, is what's currently baked into VMware Horizon. Cloud access software is in the middle, and then if you turn on the enhancements where you're using software to software, then you will get the AVX2 chipset optimization, which can give you up to 60 frames a second. And again, we're looking now at introducing things like 10-bit color. We'll be looking at 8K content in the near future. So a lot going on around where the technology is driving it. So cloud access software, just touchy. A couple more slides from me. So I'll just give you a 2-minute warning there, Victor. So cloud access software, it effectively allows you to deliver applications that are based on Linux and Windows servers down to any number, a broad selection of endpoints. Seamless high performance for the user, again, that under the desk experience, and ease of deployment and management through UDS deployments. So today we support 4K ultra high definition. We support low latency peripherals, and what I mean by low latency peripherals, I mean peripherals that require low latency. So for example, Wacom tablets, for example, Space Mice. So where if you've got users are looking to use Wacom tablets, then absolutely we support that. And with certain Wacom tablets, we also have a feature called local termination. And what that does is, rather than, if you imagine that a user's got a mouse or a pen, and we also support touch sensitivity as well, and if they're drawing on their tablet, what has to happen is that the signal has to be sent via USB up over the wire to the remote workstation. The remote workstation renders that pixel movement through the frame buffer. We then have to send it back down to the user. For most artists, if that latency and that round trip latency is less than 20 milliseconds, not a problem at all. But if it's above that, they tend to notice the lag. So we will, with certain Wacom tablets, we do what's called local termination. And so what we do is we render the mouse movement locally on the actual user's monitor, and we do the synchronization in the background. So it allows you to overcome that issue. As I said, we talked about encryption, we've talked about on-premise. We've got standard and graphics use cases. So if you've got, there's a lot of talk about graphics intense applications, but also we're seeing a lot of users wanting to deliver a very solid, robust, standard VDI deployment without the complexity of, let's say, for example, Horizon, etc., whatever it may be, or just even using RDP. The challenge with RDP, it can become unstable at points. So we do have a standard use case for our software, and we also have graphics intent, and we can support up to 4 monitors. So why Teradici? High performance, ease of deployment, widest platform support, and ultra secure endpoints. So we have 2 areas where we typically sell into. Environments where they want high security, so we do a lot in the military, a lot in government, and also then there's obviously the other side of the coin where people want high graphic intense applications, and there's a combination of both. So we see a lot of that in the film industry, where the latest Marvel movie needs to be developed, but obviously that you can't have that leaking out across the internet. So we support that environment as well, and that ultimately is my run through of Teradici and the protocol. And I will be here at the end to answer any questions you might have. So I will hand over to Victor, I believe.
Hi for everyone. Thank you, Andrew.
Or I could do a song and dance while you wait.
Yeah. I go to share my screen and I start with the demonstration. Hello for everyone. I am Victor, member of the technical department of VirtualCable, manufacturer of UDS Enterprise. We are going to teach the integration of UDS Enterprise with the PCoIP connection protocol. In this case, we are going to connect to a platform that is in French, and we are in Madrid, in Spain. So all the connections we make are made through the internet. UDS Enterprise is provided in 3 virtual appliances. Here you can see that is finished the deployment. The first appliance of our solution is the database. This database, it saves the users and groups that generates with the internal database authenticator and storage all the configurations that we make in UDS Enterprise dashboard. For work, we need 1 virtual CPU, 1 GB of RAM, and 10 GB of disk. The next component is 1 scaled UDS server. It is the core of our solution and acts as a traffic guard, allowing connections through the channels defined by the administrator. To work, we need 2 virtual CPU, 1 GB of RAM, and 8 GB of disk. And finally, we have the UDS tunneler component. This component is in charge of encapsulating communications from the one as the solution front end. In addition to this, it enables any connections protocols such as PCoIP or HTML5. For work, we need 2 virtual CPU, 1 GB of RAM, and 12 GB of disk. When we finish the deploy of UDS Enterprise, we have some page like this. This page, we can customize all that we need or all that we want. For example, we can connect to the UDS in University of Sevilla. You can see here is not the same viewer that we see in the first page. Now we are going to enter to an administrator user to the platform. And go to the dashboard. Sorry, I go to change the languages. Okay. In the first page, we are going to have an resume of our platform. How many users are registered in it, how many services are available, and how many services are created in it. For creating a service pool that is a service that we are going to connect, we need to create after 4 steps. The first step of that is create the service. These services is what virtual platform or as physical desktop we are going to share to our clients or partners. It depends the scenario that we have. When we finish the deploy and we finish the configuration of this part, we can provide one resources in one platform and another one in another platform in the same deploy of UDS Enterprise. When we finish the create the services, the next step is create the authenticator. The authenticator is the part of how made the users authenticate with the UDS platform. If we haven't got any authenticator yet in our company, we provide an internal database. In this case, we are using this type of connection. The next step is the OS manager. The OS manager is the type of the services that we are going to connect. This is on a Linux or a Windows, or is in an application. And finally, we have the connectivity. The connectivity is what connection protocol we are going to use. In this case, we are going to use PCoIP connection protocol, but we are allowed to use much than one. And then we are going, when we finish to create the steps, we are going to create the service pool. We can create like a puzzle because we are select all the steps that we are creating after. When we finish this, we are going to open, in this case, the connection, the client of PCoIP, and go to connect with our UDS Enterprise. Then UDS Enterprise asks for the user for the authenticator that we are creating and a user and a password to do the connection. And then the UDS show to the user what resources want to connect the user. The administrator define, in this case, 3 different type of connections. Now we are going to use the Windows 10 PCoIP and do the connection to one of our desktops, virtual desktops that have in the same platform. Comment that this machine lacks virtual GPU and that it does resources of 2 virtual CPU and 4 GB of RAM. But we are going to open the 3D viewer of Microsoft in this desktop in full screen and get out this. And as you can see, we can move the image, and the image is in moving and have no lags in this type of connection. Also, we are going to be enough to this machine and going to do the connection in a Linux desktop too. In this case, it's in a CentOS desktop, and we can open an image or do some different customizing this image with a NAKI if they want to open it. And so far today, the mode we can do draw in this or do all the things that we want. We go out of this virtual desktop
Okay, if you have further doubts, you can email us, and we'll be very happy to answer all your questions. Now, Yolanda, please go ahead.
Yes, now that you know how the both solutions work together, I will extend a little bit the information about the promo designed jointly. So this special promo is the goal of this promotion is to help all our customers overcome the main barrier to VDI adoption for workstations using graphics intensive applications or VoIP. In many cases, such workstations are not virtualized due to the high cost of the connection protocols that provide a good user experience in these scenarios. Thanks to our agreement with Teradici, it is now economically viable. So those customers purchasing both solutions together, and that means cloud access software plus a subscription of the UDS Enterprise Connection Broker, will enjoy up to 50% discount on Teradici Cloud Access software licenses. And of course, we'll maintain the regular discounts for the education sector that we already have. And also, I inform you that you can request access to our online demo platform with UDS Enterprise plus Cloud Access software. This tool will allow you to test the real user experience with UDS Enterprise Connection Broker and the PCoIP protocol. So feel free to request the demo. We'll send you the password, user, etc. Well, we have come to the end of this webinar. So many thanks to all of you for your assistance. We hope we have revealed relevant information for those of you who work with graphics intensive applications. And also besides now you have to do teleworking. So now this joint solution you can continue to do it, your job from home, and with all the guarantees that such work requires. Finally, I would like to express a wish, a common desire. I hope that all this horror that we are living ends soon, so that we all go for a walk in a park or just visit our people like we did before. Please take care of yourself and your families. And thanks again, and best regards to all of you. Thank you. Bye.